So welcome. Thank you. We got Brian here, our in-house nutritionist, naturopath, who's going to kind of share what he can about how do you know that you need supplements? How do you know you're taking the right supplements? How do you know what you don't know? Well, we're hopefully kind of dig into the fact that your body has all the components it needs, but sometimes it doesn't have the right fuel. And fuel is what is out there for us, but because in our society we are very good at processing so many things, the fuel that we probably used to be able to get from a peach isn't the same fuel we get from a peach now. So this is where supplementation becomes probably more and more of a needed process. But with that being said, what we want to do is try to help you to start to navigate and figure out, well, how do you know what you don't know, and how do you start to figure out what you could use in order to help yourself feel better with the right supplements. So first is, we'll go over a little bit about, supplementation itself and needs for things. Just so you know that 60% of the US adults take a supplement. In the past 30 days, 60% of people have taken a supplement, at least one supplement. Even medical doctors are recommending supplements. 38%, well, let's just say 40%, we'll round it up, take 2 or more supplements regularly. And supplements use has climbed with age from 46% of adults 20 to 39 to 76% of adults by the time you're over 60. So people want to feel better. I mean, I think what does this tell you, this stat? Like when you look at it, what's it tell you? What's the first thing in your head?
I'm not talking to enough people.
There's a lot more people that need our help.
Exactly,
right?
yes.
So we say that there's, and this is your friends, people you know, but a lot of people are searching for a natural, holistic, healthy way to live longer. They just don't know what to call it. So this is why we continue to get out there and try to share that a chiropractic philosophy from a foundation is a very good place to start. And what we've done in this office is try to fill in as many gaps as we can so that you don't have gaps in your health and you start running to medication for that. And the earlier we can start that, the better. So, so many people are on supplements, and supplements are so good that we shouldn't have any sick people. Like, why are we even all talking about health at all? We should be the healthiest people on the planet. We take more supplements and more drugs in this country than any other country, by far, but we're ranked like 39th to probably 60th at this point. I mean, who knows?
It's bad.
But I mean, compared to industrialized nations, we're nowhere near where we should be with the technology and money that we have for health. And so there's more to it than even just what supplement sounded good today too, right? So that's what we're going to get into. So the problem isn't that people aren't trying, obviously. I think people are trying to be healthy, but that most of us, you're never really taught how to determine, what your body actually needs and in what form it needs it, is ultimately what we want to kind of get into, is like, what does it really need and what form? More and more people outside, the more vitamin D you're going to get. But the majority of Americans don't meet the daily requirements or targets for vitamin D. In Northeast Ohio especially, we have limited sun exposure. I think it was only like 160 maybe days of sun. And even if there was sun, what does the body require really to produce the right amount of vitamin D? What would be you have to be exposed?
You need like 15 to 20 minutes, 30 minutes would be ideal of exposure, and you have to have about 60% of your body exposed to it.
No. So vitamin D is a gap. Magnesium is a huge gap. I mean, I've seen this research as much as 90% of the population are deficient, where we got this study said at least 79% of the U.S. falls short of the recommended daily intake of magnesium. And I know I've been to workshops and seminars with you, but magnesium itself is something in the farming practices as well that kind of depleted magnesium in our soil.
That's part of it. That, and we talked about some of the medications and so forth, and then not to mention the topsoil. The soil is just not as nutritious as it once was. So it's a combination of a couple things.
Just so you guys know too, the reason we're talking about this as a chiropractor is your nervous system ultimately is what we're trying to help enhance the function of your nervous system. We want more light flowing through your body as efficiently as possible. If your body isn't communicating brain to body, there could be a lot of reasons for that. And one of the reasons can be deficiencies. This is an electrical signal which requires certain nutrients to flow. So even if we remove interference from your spinal restrictions, you could have nutrition deficiencies and still having nerve pains and other pains. So we want to help that nervous system 100%. So your muscles and your joints require nutrients, and if we're going to be helping even just general basic pains you might have in your back or your neck, we could be looking at deficiency. So that's why we're talking about it. Magnesium is very important to activate vitamin D. And this is why your body, low in magnesium is going to affect vitamin D, which we're not getting enough of anyway. So it's this bitter cycle. That's why some of these things are being tested for, right? So the big question, what steps should you take to figure out if you have deficiencies and to start to improve them? What would you say, what would you say for someone to start off with? What are some starts that could help someone just day to day starting to figure this out a little bit?
The first thing I do is because I know there's one or two people people on the call this evening is actually start working with your digestion first. That, and the other thing is that those of you that have worked with me, you get a food log. So first of all, track your food. Now that doesn't mean you have to get into the micro macro thing. I used to do that. I get that. But as far as where to troubleshoot, start with your digestion first. Maybe you try a food elimination diet because you want to see what works, what doesn't work. Hey, what am I getting from this? But then even just track it. So keep a food log. So that way you can see, because a lot of times when I give people the food journals, I ask them, what did you notice by looking at this? And a lot of times they come in like, yeah, it makes them self-aware automatically. I'm not doing as good as I thought I was. I thought I was eating clean, or I thought I was doing it right. But now that I wrote it down, it's like, ooh, I'm like exactly why I do it. A lot of times it makes them self-aware. So simple thing, doing a food journal, digestion, those are simple, easy things you can do.
On that stage, if someone's just, let's say they're looking at their plate and they're regularly writing down their foods, what would you say that they want to start to see, even say with the macronutrients right now? What should be in there consistently throughout the day that would say, okay, I'm getting these basic macros?
The basic stuff right now, because let's just face it, GLP-1s and all that stuff are big right now, because we actually live in a pretty obese society these days. So what I look at when I look at the plate, and as we know, RFK's turned the food pyramid upside down. So as a result, I look at the plate, I want a protein, fat, and fiber on every plate, okay? Proteins satiate you, they take the longest to break down. Typically that's gonna be our animal proteins. You can use vegetarian sources of proteins, your beans or whatever it is, okay? So, but I want a protein, fat, and fiber. So fats also satiate you. So that could be your avocados, your coconut oil, butter, whatever it is, something of that nature. And then fiber, that's what, sometimes maybe you cooked your vegetables in the fat, okay? So that's, you got 2 into 1 there. So basically, as we know, you typically want your proteins about the size of your fist, maybe the size of a deck of cards. Some of us that are more active than others, or maybe based off your metabolism, you may need more protein or maybe need more fiber. Some people don't do well with fiber. Some people have some issues in their small intestine or colon or something. So we have to watch how much fiber we give them.
When you say fiber, what kind of things are they eating for that? Vegetables, obviously?
Yeah, vegetables and fruits. And so this is where the aha moment, or I had a V8 moment, since we're talking about this tonight, is that if I have a serving of fruit, I try to stick to 2 servings of veggies. It's just kind of my rule of thumb. Okay. So that's why a lot of times like, oh, look, I have 3 servings of fruit, but 1 serving of veggies when they start writing stuff down. I try to get them to try and bring that back the other way. Or, or maybe try to make it at least even. But I try to be at that 2 to 1 even for my own personal.
Vegetables to fruits.
Correct.
So I didn't hear you say anything about my whole grain muffin. Nope. I thought that's where I get fiber.
You can, but it also doesn't depend upon what it's made of. So if you go to Starbucks or Panera or whatever it is, that's probably not going to be the best. Whereas if you made it yourself with like some almond flour or some other sources that are out there, that can be. But then at the same time, maybe we get 2 servings out of that muffin versus eating it 1 at a time. Because then when you start to look at the caloric intake of what that is, that muffin's typically almost probably 3 servings. That's the other thing they don't tell you. We think it's 1 serving, they just give it to you here. It's actually could be 2 to 3 servings of what they're actually giving you.
Gotcha. So when you're looking at the plate, that plate mainly is not going to be full of many complex carbohydrates. You're looking at fruits, vegetables, protein sources, and fats.
Yeah.
So we're looking at this. If you're seeing more than the couple things you described on a regular basis in each meal, there's a chance your body's working harder or you're becoming depleted in certain things because your nutrients are mostly coming from fruits, vegetables, and proteins and fat. So that's what's one basic thing. Now you said digestion a couple times. What would be like, so if someone just said, my digestion's fine, doc. I think I don't have any problems. It's the same. And the same, you know what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
They say, I work on digestion. What's that? What would that mean to anyone? Because I don't know what that means. I'm not sure what they think when you say that. I don't know. You want me to massage it? What do you want me to work on? Tell me what that
digestion
means.
Is a north to south process. If it goes in the north, it better come out the south. What did we do with it as in between? Did we get the most out of it? If you see it came out the other end and it still looks the same, you didn't make use of it. Okay? Or if you're constipated, that means your body's not using it the way it should. It's holding on to stuff. Why is it holding on to this? If you're having diarrhea, what did you eat that caused the bile flow or caused whatever to go haywire? As we get older, because of the way our foods are and so forth, most of us have some kind of digestive distress, if you will, that we're unaware of. Okay, so that's where doing a food elimination diet, why I said the food journal before.
Right. The foods that you're taking out, just so people know with elimination, dairy, wheat, corn? Do you do corn now?
I do, but sparingly. Sparingly. Yes.
Soy?
No.
Eggs?
Yes, I do. Oh, I love my farm fresh eggs.
And these are ones that you should be eliminating on this elimination diet. Am I right?
Correct.
So you would want to be removing as many sources.
Allergens.
Yeah, the top allergens. Mm-hmm. You can search it, but you're removing wheat and dairy big time. I would say for everyone, if you're only going to eliminate 2, those would probably be the top 2, I'm going to say, because those are probably in every meal if you're not paying attention. Eggs, there's a lot of people that are sensitive to eggs, and we love our eggs. I mean, we're all big on those, but that would be a thing. Soy and corn is the next steps. I feel like there's one I'm missing, but I think those are the biggies.
Those are the big
those
four.
Are, okay, yeah. So those are ones like, you know, if you're like, well, how do I eliminate all that? Better be checking your dressings. You better be checking a lot of things. If you're getting anything out of the fridge as a condiment, chances are what I said is in those. For at least 2 weeks, probably a month.
A month is ideal. 2 weeks is typically not enough because as the microbiome changes, the turnover cells of your small intestine are 90 days.
Okay.
And the microbiome changes frequently. 2 words I always use are frequency and moderation. And then once you eliminate that completely, what can I tolerate? Can I tolerate this at all? If we get the bloating, the indigestion, the runny nose, the aches and pains in our stomach, something of that nature, we probably have a food allergen or sensitivity that we're unaware of. That then creates these deficiencies. We're not making use of this stuff.
And I'm basically restating quickly. Number one is I would look up the Bristol stool chart.
Correct.
So if you want to know what's going in is coming out the right way, go to the Bristol stool chart. It'll let you know what your stool should look like. If it's anything but like number 4, it will show you.
Yes, number 4 or 5.
I think 4 or 5. If it's not like soft serve ice cream-ish, it's like, you know, you're bad. So number 2 would be any of these symptoms he just said that you might have, and you could have them days later after eating things.
Correct.
This is why you have to do an elimination diet.
Up to 2 to 3 days.
You would have you might say, well, I don't know what I ate yesterday. Well, it might not have been yesterday, okay? Your body, it's wild. But any of these things that he talked about could be just indications your digestion's off. It's going to take some time to heal that. That's why we supplement. So when you're saying, well, how do I know if I need it? Well, because if your body isn't functioning the way you think it was when you were 20 or younger, and you're thinking that there's just some pill or potion that's going to flip it back, that's not true. It's going to take work and effort in a lot of ways. I mean, we gave you some things of what your plate should look like. If your plate's looked like that for years, wonderful. Then you probably need less of these supplements. If it hasn't, you just tried it once in a while throughout the year, it's probably not going to do much difference. So know that supplements are there to kind of cover our lifestyles. And that was a lot on that slide. How do you start? Well, you look at your plate, you look at your stool. And then from there, it will kind of let you know what to kind of look through. Blood work is a good thing, but your blood is the last thing that's going to show a problem. Yes. So when it comes to testing, I think we were talking about, because it's not in here, but a DNA test. If you could just describe that, I just want to see. The
DNA test we do here is it's a simple salivary swab, and you can't have anything in your mouth for about an hour or so. And we take a simple swab. It's like 10 rolls on the right, 10 rolls on the left, and then you break the Q-tip off in a saline solution. We send it off to the lab. Now it's the roadmap. Okay, you only have to do the test one time. Once it's done, that's it. It's not going to change. Whatever you got from mom, whatever you got from dad, it came together. So it's never ever going to change. But it can tell us the roadmap of what's going on. So some people endogenously have some DNA SNPs, as they're called. They're called SNPs, single nucleotide polymorphisms. So these SNPs didn't maybe come together properly. Okay, and some people endogenously produce inflammation. Okay, to where you're adjusting them, they can walk out of here and they need adjusted again the next day, or maybe you adjusted them in the morning and they need to come back at night because maybe they're that inflamed. I'm sure you've probably seen some cases like that as well. In the genetic test, if you have this inflammatory marker, you're going to be inflamed no matter what you do. So how do we then quell that, or how do we redirect that ship or get it to go down another path? So, but the genetic test is your pathway or your roadmap. And how do I either go down that road, or how do I not go down that road, or flip that light switch? Or this is what the study of epigenetics is turning on and turning off those genes, or deactivating them. And that's really, really cool to do, because I've done that with me and I didn't know what I was doing back when I did it. You know, my first divorce, a lot of people that work with me know, it's the little Debbie. And so me and her no longer have a relationship. I will not touch those anymore. She still winks at me when I go to the grocery store, but I will not touch those. They have a 25-year shelf life. I'm not putting that in here. Just not.
So the DNA test is a really nice way that we can very quickly find out if you have predispositions to more inflammation, food sensitivities,
elimination, blood chemistry, or blood sugar, cardiovascular, food sensitivities, and there actually is even the last page that we have on there actually shows us like vitamin A. Being we talked about vitamin A for a moment there.
Yeah.
I actually don't do well with certain forms of vitamin A. I actually need the retinol versions that you get out of an orange or out of a carrot or something like that. There's some supplement companies use just not the retinol version, use like a palmitate or something of that nature. I can't assimilate those. I didn't know that till I did genetic test. So there's 1 or 2 supplements I was taking that had those other forms in it. I'm like, when I ran out of them, I didn't refill them. I had to go to a different version because I didn't know that.
So you can find out even if you take supplements, the right supplements, and there's supplements that could help to support the weakness you might have been given in some of those genes as well. Yeah. The biggest thing, the food matrix, the big thing is that when you're eating these whole foods that we were talking about earlier, you are getting a whole complex of vitamins and nutrients. supplements. So when you have those, when you're eating foods, then you're going to be supported. You know, the whole foods are huge. It's definitely going to be better than any kind of a fractionated part of a vitamin. So knowing that eating whole foods is number one. Food first, then supplement would be what we're trying to kind of express to you with a lot of these things. But again, if you look at your plate and you realize those foods aren't there in a good enough quantity, then you probably do need to supplement, which more and more people probably do, especially at a certain level. And those things are ways for us to kind of help. When you look at that, we can start to let you know pretty quickly without any kind of expensive test that you need this or that supplement. Those are kind of the big things. This is just a little bit about Brian. Got to meet him a lot. So you guys have a good night. Thanks for everything. If you have other questions, just send them in. We'll ask Brian and he'll send us a message, all right? Bye-bye.